Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and you are watching M.O.N.Comics on just a special Saturday night, nothing special, regular kind of chill stream. I asked my buddy Doug Bakken, the comic collector coach. We were talking earlier this week and we were like, let's just stream. Let's talk about comics, because like sometimes you get too caught up in making videos that you I forget that I can live stream and like talk with a friend. And we just so happen to be talking about like the Battle Beast book that just came out. And I was like, did you get it? And he's like, yeah, I got a blind bag. And I was like, I picked up some too. And that's kind of led us down the path of like, oh, we should talk about blind bags and FOMO and like this whole new thing. I mean, I guess it's new. Would you say, is X-Men 97 the first ones that really unleashed the blind bags with chase variants? I mean, mystery box has always been a thing, but
I don't know if it was that or the Hulk, the Hulk bags on Whatnot. I'm not sure which one really came first, but those were definitely super prevalent because those were selling like hotcakes, and then the Daredevil didn't help any.
yes. And by the way, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Hey, man, it's a Saturday night. We get to hang out and
That's
talk
right.
comics. I'm usually used to hosting, the Big Five Live, so I usually have 4 people to pay attention to. But it's nice just to get like a one-on-one with a. I mean, we've talked. How long we've been talking back, on Instagram for? A year?
Yeah, at least. I mean, not long after you started YouTube, so yeah, probably a year plus.
Yeah, and then you started your channel, and life happens, and we're always trying to figure out how to make new videos and stuff. But no, it was cool that we're going to be able to have this conversation. But let's say hi to folks in the chat. All the way from Finland, Yusa, first and high, and then you got
the man,
super mod Richard Westfall. He's got that blue wrench for a reason. And then Chris Parker, relatively local to me. Good evening, brother. Happy.
Chris is a good dude. Love Chris.
He's awesome. I got to hang out with him in person, and we're going to hang out again this summer. So very pumped. And my buddy Matt, M.Press Comics. Anyone looking for your pressing and cleaning needs, you can check Matt out and his work on Instagram and his YouTube channel under the same name. So go give him a follow. And he's become very good at what he does quickly. Derek Neiman, what's going on, Derek? Welcome into the chat, dude. Mike from Casino Comics, what's going on? Go Pittsburgh. Let's go.
Mike is the man, by the way. Sweet man and a generous man. I'll go over that. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. I like that. Southern gentleman, Mike is. Sal, part of the Comic Codex Station. If you're not following them, do so. My buddy Fluxcap Collects. Check out him on Instagram. He has a fantastic page. He does some cool stuff with his nostalgia. And as always, Jabs, Expensive Paper, what's going on? Jay, what's going on? Rich, Big Nasty in the house. Big Nasty, we had a good time on the Big Five Live with him last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. It's all blending together. Jess
right.
In Brooklyn. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yes, happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone hanging out in the States. Outer World Comics, what's going on? Good evening, my friend. I hope you are well. Did I miss anyone? The chat's still kind of rolling. That's it. I just want to say hi to everyone in the chat, and thank you for coming to hang out. I know Rich just did a stream. Doug was telling me about that, so go check out the rewatch on Rich's channel. It's Big Nasty Comics. But we're here to talk about FOMO and blind bags. So when they've already done mystery boxes. A lot of people sell them, from small sellers to big companies. And then blind bags come along, put out by actual comic book distributors. What's your initial feeling towards mystery boxes, versus like blind bags? Like what do you think about those, Doug?
So mystery boxes, I'll say this. I am guilty. I've purchased a few mystery boxes, chasing that, hey, there's a chance you could hit whatever cover or whatever book. I've done a few mystery boxes. Usually I'm disappointed, but I will say this. When they say you get at least the value of the, what you're paying, they're usually correct, depending on your sources. Like, for instance, one that I've gone to a couple of times is Torpedo Comics online. I've done a couple of mystery boxes from them, and I've gotten some good books. I wasn't disappointed with the price that I paid, just disappointed with the books that I ended up with, because I either already had them or they just weren't really what I was wanting. But when it comes to blind bags, in this situation where, at the LCS. Their cover price, they're $3.99. You know, I've got one here. Anybody that hasn't been looking, it is $3.99. So when you see those jacked up prices on Whatnot and eBay, those are inflated prices. That's not the cover price. So paying cover price for it, I'm all for it. I think it's a cool, exciting way to get something that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have chosen. Yes, it is geared to like sell more books because otherwise those books are left at the LCS and end up eventually in a dollar bin probably. But I don't know. At cover price, I think it's cool. What Whatnot does, I'm less cool with because man, with those Daredevil ones, there were two covers that I was interested in, and I was not interested in paying $60 a bag to try and get one of those covers. It just didn't make sense for a reprint to me. But yeah, that's generally my feeling on it. Is it's not for me most of the time, but if that's your thing, you know, who am I to say how somebody else collects? But how do you feel about it?
I feel the exact same way. I'll never tell anyone what to do with their money. And, you know, let's face it, mystery bags, mystery boxes, blind bags, they are predatory in nature. They are focusing in on that gambling sect of anyone who likes to gamble. You know, I bought in on mystery boxes too. I like to buy in on them when they're like a charity effort, when the money is going to a charity. Like Tessa is a nerd. She's wonderful. She did some to benefit a member of our community some time ago, and the proceeds were going to her. And I did, like you said, get the value of stuff. And that's something like with the mystery boxes, as long as the like the expectation of like they're like you're at least going to get your value back. You know, like even if people say get your value back, but unless you sell them and get exactly that, like it's like this just kind of like a realized value, right? Like that's what they say they sell for, but like unless you sell them for that, you know, you're not exactly making your money back. I've always said, and I've been into this since I played Magic the Gathering. You know, like you're chasing the big cards. You're trying to get packs with the most expensive card, so you can either keep it or flip it. And when you know, like you said, it's manufactured scarcity. They're doing it to sell books. They've got all these. You know, you'll never get these books on. You know. They never sell that many books in that volume unless they put some chase stuff in there.
Right.
And, you know, the X-Men 97 packs, I didn't get into those. I didn't get
any of them. I just put it on my poll. X-Men 97, and it's good.
I think with this instance, you know, I don't have an LCS to go to, right? So I had to get mine. I got mine on Whatnot. I popped into a show, and I told you beforehand, he was doing 2 books at a time. And yes, they're $3.99. He was starting them at $1. So I had all Whatnot credits. I had like $40 of Whatnot credits. So I'm like, I'm going to get this book regardless. Either way, like I'll just get it right now, and then I don't have to go to an LCS or anything, drive a 2-hour round trip to get the book. It's just it was by gas and stuff. Like it's going to be the same.
Yeah.
So, you know, I paid for the first 2 books. I got them for 17, and then the next 2 books were 22. So out the door is a little over 30 shipped, and it was from my credits. So I didn't spend anything technically. And to me, where it was as fun as I knew, it was whatever I got, I was going to enjoy because I wanted to read it. And I knew I love Kirkman. I love Otley. If I got a cover by a cool artist, that was icing on the cake. So yeah, like it's not something I would do all the time. And if I was at the store and I saw a blind bag next to a cover A $3.99, I'm probably going to buy the $3.99 cover A just because I want the story. And, you know, later down, if someone shows me the David Finch cover and I'm like, oh, I love that. I bet in 6 months to a year, it'll be cheaper than it is now.
Yeah, always. Right. I mean, Invincible's a little bit different just because I feel like Invincible's been so popular. I mean, look at first print of #1 from 2019, I think was when it came out. I mean, you can't get that for less than a couple $100 in like a good condition. You know what I mean? And, so I agree with you. Yeah. You know, I generally am a cover A guy unless there's an artist that just absolutely blows me away. But with the blind bag, you're taking that chance. And like you said, for you, round trip, you'd be out way more than $17, Whatnot credit or not, just in gas and time, you know? So yeah, I'd say that's probably for someone in your situation. I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, Derek Neiman makes a good point. It's hard to be disappointed at $3.99. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, if you just get the book because you wanted to read it and you rip one book pack and you get the book, you've got your book to read. If you rip that
exactly.
pack and you get that 1 in 50 or 1 in 1,000 or 1 in all of a sudden, if you want to flip it, you might be able to. You might be able to capitalize on FOMO.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't shop around on Whatnot really. I think I could have. I think the chat is really
Yeah.
like saying some good stuff.
We struck a nerve. We're hitting. Everybody's got an opinion, and I love it.
So yeah, Chris has got some of them picked up the X197 from Colossus. You'll see.
Yep.
I'm okay with cover price, and I like the feeling that I might win, but not the private seller things. Also depends on the comic. Yeah, and I'm usually winning because the market is. Yeah.
And to your point, you said you didn't really shop around on Whatnot. I spent probably an entire day last weekend watching Whatnot shows just to see if I could maybe get one, because I knew my LCS with the regulars that go in there, they're not the people that are going to buy those. It's probably, it's across the street from a school. A lot of those kids come in after school, buy comics, look at comics. So those are probably the demographic that are going to buy up all the blind bags, I think. But and my LCS isn't super close either. I mean, it's local, but it's still 30 minutes from me. So I only go like twice a month. So I did shop around on Whatnot. I think I looked at no less than at least a dozen different streams, and all auction style. Nobody was just selling them for a fixed price. And the cheapest one that I saw go for one was $17. And you said 2 for 17, right?
Yeah,
so, 2 for 17, and then shipping, especially in your case, you had credits, like you're not really out any money. That's awesome. But I just couldn't justify doing it. And they only got worse from there. People were selling, oh, well, I'm going to sell a three bags in one auction. Okay. Well, some of those were going for $70, and I just don't get it. So what I did then was I went over to eBay, and I know that, eBay is what it is, but I wasn't shopping for Bronze or Silver Age. So I figured I was okay. And I found one guy was selling one single for $6.99 before shipping. And I felt that was fair. So I grabbed one of those. And then immediately after, I found another seller that was selling a 3-pack for $20 before shipping. And I thought that was okay. So that's all that I bought. We'll see if it pays off. I don't think I'm going to flip any of them. If I get any I don't want, I'll probably just give them away. But, I am chasing. After seeing the 1 in 1,000 and the Finch cover, either one of those I would really like to have. So if I get one of them, awesome. If not, then better luck next time. Or like you said, wait 6 months to a year and find it in a dollar bin.
I agreed. Yeah, exactly. Chris brings a good point. They were different than overpriced Whatnot exclusives. However, they are cover price in store.
Right.
For sure. Overall, he thinks new packs are very detrimental in one sense for traditional collectors, yet such packs seem to attract many new buyers. Yeah, I mean, they will hit a different vein of people that like to gamble with their money and a chance to get a book worth money. Again, I'm not one to tell anyone how to spend their money. There's just some stuff I wouldn't. I just knew I wanted this book. What book, Doug? What did you get? You got one pack. What'd you get?
So I did get the one. The one came in. The 3 that are coming on Tuesday, I'll have to post once I get them. But the one that I did get is the ultra rare advanced edition of number 2. So, you had asked me backstage before the show, have I read it yet? Well, no, I haven't, because I want to read number 1 first. But I like it. I mean, it's a foil cover.
Can you show that cover again?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If I went too fast.
So what's the difference between this that came in the blind bag and the regular edition, you said?
So I had to look it up, and I was like, okay, well, is it a special cover, or is this a cover that they just made somehow different because it came out before issue 2 is actually on shelves? And the only difference that I could find is here at the bottom. It says Ultra Rare Advanced Edition, and I believe this is the cover A for number 2 once it comes out. And just this text will be missing from the bottom of the cover. So, and maybe it's not foil, I'm not sure, but that's the only difference that I could find. So if you see a number 2 for sale somewhere and it's the Ultra Rare Advanced Edition, then it came out of a blind bag. That's the only thing that I can decipher. But, I think it's cool. It's a cool looking cover, but I don't want to start at issue number 2. So I'll just wait for the other ones to come in and if I get an A or, whatever I get, I'm going to read them. Even if it's the 1 in 1,000, I'm still going to read it. I really don't care about that. I just want the art. But, like I said, these 4, that's going to be the line for me. I don't think I'm going to get that bug and then go buy 50 more of these things at question mark price.
Yeah, I don't feel that I will. I don't feel that I'll go out and get more. I think if I can just go and order, the next issues from the series online, I'll be fine with that. It was fun to get in and see how this worked. Now, you grew up in the 80s, right? You were born in the 80s.
I was born in the 80s, yep.
Okay. Do you remember the toys Battle Beasts?
I do remember Battle Beasts. I don't think I had very many, but
they had little emblems that you could scratch. They were holograms.
And
it was like wood, fire, and water, and like certain ones beat certain other ones.
Yeah.
There was a lion character. Do you remember? He was like white with blue armor, just like this, except he had an eye patch. That's the only difference.
Man, I was born in 84, so I had them, but they weren't I think they were brand new when I was an infant. So I don't remember that one specifically. What I remember more is the Muscle Men. You remember those?
Oh yeah, I loved those too.
But yeah, to your point, are you saying that you think Battle Beast was modeled after?
I mean,
no.
I mean, that is what it reminds me of. He's got an eye patch, which would be cool if this Battle Beast had an eye patch, but this is what it reminds me of, especially when I hear Battle Beast. I'd love to. I don't know the lore enough. I don't know if they did model it after that. So Matt Empress Comics was talking about Battle Beast. Kenneth Bird, Evening in Virginia, man. He had no issue with it. Those things are wicked expensive. Yeah, I had them all. I threw them out. So that's what it reminds me of. But so I got 4, and like I said, I don't feel the need to go out and buy any more. If I got the 1 in 1,000, probably would have flipped it. To be honest, like it would have been. I'm not that huge of a collector of, or don't see myself like where I need to get that variant. So I got the cover A. So this is a Ryan Otley cover A. So this is like you go out, get this first issue. And within when I pulled, this was the first bag, and then the second bag I got was the David Finch cover B.
Man, that's such a good looking cover,
and it's a beautiful painted cover. I mean, it is friggin' awesome. It's really cool, and so that was my first 2. So again, I mean, yes, I got some cool art, but it's the same story. I can read either one,
right?
And then the second go is when I got the Arthur Adams 1 in 50.
And that's cool too. I really think most of the art for these is really good looking. Even the cover A. I think the cover A, there's nothing wrong with it. People are poo-pooing on it left and right, but I think it looks good.
I like them all. I mean, these are very like similar front and center Battle Beast.
Right.
That front view. And then my second pack, I did get the second issue. Now I read the first issue, and I was going to get this to read it regardless of, how it was sold, but I just wanted to have fun with the blind bags. So like I can see for my sake, someone who has to drive far to the LCS, who got a decent deal considering what I had to pay for gas, maybe lunch or whatever. And I got a couple covers that I thought were cool, and an incentive variant, 1 in 50, and I got the issue 2. Like I'm okay, like with what I again, it was all Whatnot credits, but $34, like if it had been my own money, to not have to drive, to not take my time up on a Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
The gas is, let's just say low end $10 one way, so that's $20 for gas. I'm paying 4 in tax. I'm almost at that.
Right. Well, and you can't put a price on time, right? So you saved all that time.
Right. And I don't have, I'm with you. We were talking backstage. We both have kids, young kids. It's very hard for us to get away. Some people poo-pooing on the Invincible universe. What's going on, guys?
You know what? I get it. It's a newer book. It's my first taste of Invincible was the Amazon cartoon, which honestly, I loved it. I was like, I went into it completely blind. I didn't know anything about Invincible other than it existed. And when I saw the first episode, I was like, oh man, they're like cursing and there's blood flying everywhere. This is awesome. I love that. But so it got me hooked right away. Not so
Yeah.
much that I'm going to go chase, first prints of 1 through whatever they're at now, but enough to the point where I want to get more. Like I would get the trades and read them 100%.
Yeah, that's how it happened with me. I known what Invincible was about, but I hadn't really delved in, and I saw the Amazon show, and then I started reading more. And then you find out it's like not really in order, but that first episode that they did just was a good one to draw people in, because it's just completely normal for most of it, superheroes fighting and stuff, and then the end just takes a freaking curve. And I showed it to my wife because she likes this stuff. She doesn't read the books. She likes comic stuff,
Right.
kind of
More
action,
more
right?
The animated or movie style.
Yes, but cartoons are a little tougher for her, because it's cartoon. She's not really into it. But I said, just watch this, honey. And she was watching. She's like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool story. And then the end happened, and she was like, holy crap. And I'm like, yeah, it went dark fast. And I'm like, that's how. And I started reading the series, and you learn more about that stuff. And she got into it. So yeah. And then I started picking up some Invincible books. Friends were sending them to me. I was trading for them. You also got Battle Beast blind bag just for the character because Ben into Invincible when it first came out. Of course, this is way cheaper for me. Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, you and I were pretty much introduced the similar ways to it. But I did read it. I love the writing in it. I love how Kirkman wrote it. Otley's art is amazing on it. And Elise Leone is also on the creative team. I'm not sure what she did. Did she
yeah, I think she was the colorist, like on the inside. I'm not sure, but I looked at that on a couple of covers. I think she did some of the cover inking.
But it is bloody. It is brutal. It is everything I want in the Invincible world.
100%.
And
yeah, they went full speed in one direction, and they're not slowing down.
Yeah, and I liked Battle Beast as a character in Invincible when I read him in the comics, and there's some other books in the original Invincible run and variant covers with him on it that are just awesome. I think he's an awesome character. I think a lot of these characters, are, in the Invincible universe are pretty cool, like Monster Girl or Ancient Levy or anyone you want to name off. But Battle Beast, I don't know. Like maybe it was just that 80s nostalgia that stuck me with the Battle Beast toys and that lion and seeing something that looked like it. That like preyed on my nostalgia. I think that
I can see that. I can see that. I mean, I'm a big Moon Knight fan, so when I see a Moon Knight cover that comes out that isn't Sienkiewicz or maybe Miller or one of the big ones that did Moon Knight in the Volume 1, I'm like, I don't know, but every once in a while there'll be a sweet cover, and I'm like, I gotta have that.
Okay, so that brings up a great question pertaining back to the FOMO and stuff of blind bags. They put out Moon Knight blind bag. Disney Plus second series is coming out. They announced Moon Knight blind bags. Are you going nuts then because it's one of your favorite characters?
So again, I might talk to you for something like that because I'm cool with the guys at my LCS. I might talk to them and say, hey, can you put it in my pull bin, and if you want me to charge me more than cover price because I'm getting a couple and they're going to be hot, I get it. But I might grab a couple extra cover price. But I don't think I would ever get to a point where I would be so desperate for one cover that I would pay 2,000% over cover price. You know what I mean? $50, $100. I just don't think I would do it. There's too many other books that I'd rather have for that amount of money. That it just, no matter how cool it is, unless I had some lucky golden ticket, I'm just not going to do it.
Fair enough. I was thinking the same thing for Man-Thing if they did like a bunch of Man-Thing covers. Yeah. But again, like Dave. Hello, Dave from Solely 35 Cents. Good morning in Australia. Yeah, you can just buy the books. Now, my argument I made, Dave, for why it worked out for me is that, again, I live 2-hour round trip from my LCS. So I had Whatnot credits, and I was able to get a couple bags for what I thought would have been cheaper than having to drive to Syracuse, New York and back and buy, pay for these books, pay for lunch, pay for gas. It was about the same price, but it was Whatnot credit. So I actually just didn't even pay for it. But normally we probably wouldn't go out and do it. I wouldn't go out and do it like that. And I think a lot of people are agreeing with that. And then Chris Barker, I'd rather have $50. I'd rather have a sweet Silver Age book. Yeah, I mean, unless you're gonna I'll collect these. I'll keep these. I'm not gonna sell the 1 in 50 I got. Like I like the Arthur Adams art too much. I like the David Finch art too much, but like
Hmm.
if you're flipping them, I guess is a different story. The problem with Blinds Bag is that there are a load of the non-rare covers go to waste. Yeah, that's a really good point. Like people aren't going to, why go buy the regular cover A if they can get a blind bag and have a shot at both the cover A but also a 1 in 1,000? Like what's the incentive to buy the regular issue at that
Right.
point?
And I noticed, I was looking, I couldn't find anywhere outside of the 1 in 1,000, like the purposely published ratios. I couldn't find what the print run was for cover A, the issue number 2. I couldn't find it. The Finch, is that an incentive cover? Is that 1 in 50, right?
No,
Or no?
The Arthur
Arthur
Adams
Adams is
is
1 in
1 in
50.
50. The Finch is just cover B, I believe.
Okay, so exactly. So like I couldn't find what the print run is. So that by not making that public information, like you said, manufactured scarcity, we don't know how many there are of everything but the 1 in 1,000 of the published ratios. So, you know, again, like Dave said, I agree. Just buy the book. If you know you want the book because you want to read the book, buy one blind bag at cover price and call it good. Whatever cover you get is what you get, and I'm behind that 100%. But like you mentioned, Magic the Gathering backstage, trading card people have a different mindset because every time you buy a pack, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right, right,
So
right, right,
this
right,
is
right.
this is in that vein, and I live in that vein too. I've got a lot of trading cards, and I'm not shy about it. And sometimes you get super disappointed, and sometimes you hit that mega one of one, and that keeps you chasing to the next one. So it's a fine line that you have to walk, but I agree for the most part with what everybody's saying is that the blind bags kind of getting the price inflated on secondary market for manufactured scarcity is it's kind of a skid mark on the industry. I think it turns a lot of people away.
It sure does, Dave said it's bad. It is wasteful, not great for the environment, and it is, like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's predatory in nature. It's
Right.
hitting that gambling itch, and again, I won't go out and buy more blind bags. I got the first issue now, and I had the whatnot credits, and I thought it'd be fun to get them and talk about it. And I'm glad it was with you that I was able to talk and connect with this and see what someone else's thoughts were on it. Now I got the second issue. Now I'll just probably order like whatever issue number 3 comes out, and I'll pick the cover I
Right.
want and just order it. I won't get any more. I don't think there will be another, like, this is the first and only blind bag. I probably would, it would have to be something crazy to pull me back in, but like, again, back to Dave's point, you just go buy the book, like
Right.
you can just go buy that book. I'm very happy that I chose to do it with Battle Beast. Like some people said in the chat earlier, like a lot of them were reprints of the other books, reprints with different covers, whereas the Battle Beast is the first printing. So I'm getting an
Right.
original story. I'm getting in ground level to be able to read this story because I've just been devouring books lately and reading. So I'm real happy that I have them. I probably wouldn't go back on and do them. Derek Neiman, the 1 in 1,000 selling for 500. So why not to hit for 399? It's exactly the same as cards. Why rip a bunch of packs by the chase cards? Why? Because the chase card itself is fun. Yeah, again, and that falls back to the nature of the gambling nature of it. And you made a good point about Magic the Gathering. Like, you don't know what you're going to get in the packs. Whereas here, you know what you're getting. But there's more of an ouch factor when it's $3.99, but they say it inflated to $20 and you paid $20, you just got a cover A. At least with Magic cards, you can use them. You might pull some cards
right.
you can play with.
Right. And to Derek's point, that's kind of why I mentioned trading cards in general, is because people who collect, not everybody who collects comics collects, trading cards, or in my case, like I pretty much go after comic themed trading cards. So I've got, every one of at least every Marvel series card that's come out probably in the last 20 years. And, I enjoy it. I enjoy collecting things in general. And when it comes to the cards, I try not to look at the checklist and see what there is so that my hopes aren't dashed when I open a pack and, I don't know what I'm not getting. Right. But when you are chasing it, I get it. You know, it's exciting. You get that rush of adrenaline, the card's in your hand, and you're, man, I hit this big card. And then now you want to do that 50 more times because it feels great. But I think with comics, I think they're doing too much of it and it's too close together. Like you mentioned, you know, the Daredevil Whatnot packs, those were all reprints. Not a single one of those was a first print. And if you want the story, just buy the original book for way less than the packs are going for.
Yeah, I mean, I did like I saw that. I didn't get into it. Trading card, like you said, it's that hit, but the house is always going to win, right? I mean, my dad worked at a casino for the last 13 years of his life, and I never go to casinos because he taught me the minute you walk in that door, you've lost. Yeah, you might win one time out of 100, you know, but it's never going to equal what you lose. Jabs, you got it right, man. Dopamine hit, thrill the hunt. To be clear, I don't have a problem with those who. Yeah, I will never tell anyone how to spend their money. If someone wants to go spend $1,000 on a 2.0 Golden Age Good Girl art by their favorite, you know, cover artist from that time, Matt Baker, go for it. Not for me. Not for me. If someone wants to buy the blind bags, go for it. I did as an experiment with, you know, free money, and I see what people are doing, and I just I don't think like I said, I don't think I buy anymore. And I just would go buy the books. Like, this was more of an experiment for me, you know. I wanted to see what they're all about and be able to talk about it on the channel because everyone else has. I don't think they're great for the hobby overall. I agree with Dave totally on that.
Yeah.
They're wasteful. They're creating waste. They're you know, the cover rays are junk. But like, I'm happy to have the cover. Like, we're probably like the rarity, you know, like the outlier of like, oh, I'm just happy to have the cover A. Like, that's the first cover for Battle Beast, and I would like to know the print run. I should have looked that up. And if anyone in the chat knows the print run, or anyone watches this on the rewind and is familiar with the print run, drop it in the comments below. So yeah. Blind bags. I think they are. I don't think they're going to stop, man.
They're not, because Whatnot's had too much success with them. That Whatnot right now is literally the demon driving the train, and I think that they're selling out every time. And if we, as the collectors in the hobby, people who have been doing this for, I mean, I don't know how long you've been collecting comics, but I've been doing it since I was at least 6 or 7. So, you know, 33, 34 years. We in the hobby have to vote with our wallets to stop it. And there's too many flippers out there who know that they're going to make a dime or a buck or whatever on those blind bags. So I don't think it's going to stop until those numbers taper off. When they are not selling out, maybe they'll slow down. But until then, we're just going to have to keep hearing about it.
Yeah. 400K Battle Beast #1 blind bags. That's incredible if it's true. I mean, that, you know, that's crazy. I know one of the LCS I go to had a 36-hour. They stayed open from 8 p.m. one night until like midnight the next night, and this is like a freaking crazy. They did Whatnot shows. They're selling them in person. And yeah, flippers are going to get them. Whatnot gives them away to some of their top sellers, you know.
Right.
So they get in and they're selling it, and it's like pure profit. Legion of Paper, it's a business, and yeah, they only produce what will sell, but they keep selling them. Comic Tom had thousands of people in Whatnot stream. It was astonishing. And that's where FOMO gets us. Okay, so
right.
FOMO, if you're new to comics, if you've never heard anything, you're just watching this channel, for fear of missing out. And it's in any kind of collectibles, and it doesn't have to be new books like this. You could be chasing that Silver Age book you've wanted for a long time in a specific grade, and only like see so many copies of it, and you see it during an Instagram claim sale, and it goes for, let's say FMV is 300, and you see it go for 200, and then you can't get it for under 300, and you keep looking. You know, that's the FOMO. Like, you should have bought it. You know, you're fear you're missing out if you don't get it that deal, or it could drop. You know, that book could say FMV is 200, and you get it for 180, and then the next week it's down to like 125. You know, like. FOMO is real, and it's not just the new, you know, people I think associate FOMO with a lot of the new comics and the blind bags and stuff like that, but it's also FOMO exists with the older. It's like whatever you fear on not getting, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if it's something that's been out of print for a long time. It's never going to be reprinted again. Hagen and I at Hagen at Lettuce Comics were talking one time about there was a Moon Knight cover that Bill Sienkiewicz did. I want to say it was like 2016 or something like that, maybe earlier. But he did a cover. It's a 1 in 1,000 cover, and you can't find it for sale. And when you do, it's $1,000 for a comic book that's less than 10 years old. And I'd love to have it. It's a beautiful cover. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, chime in. But it's a beautiful cover. I'd love to have one, but not for that. I bought Werewolf by Night 32, the only book that I have on my wall currently. I'm working on my display, but I bought that for $700 in the CGC 6.0. There is no better book to me. That's my favorite book of all time. It's my favorite book in my collection. And I'm completely happy paying that price because there's never going to be any more. I mean, yeah, there's a facsimile, but there's never going to be any more. And I feel like that's a fair price for the market right now. Mm-hmm. So I was completely happy spending that. I'm not going to bend over and pay $1,000 for a less than 10-year-old comic book that eventually I'll be able to get my hands on. I'm just not going to do it.
So if we're talking about blind bags, I guess we have to talk about something that drives blind bags is the incentive variants, right?
Sure.
Like they've started putting these incentive variants. So if you're not familiar with them, most people in the chat probably are, but like if a store, if they have a variant that's 1 in 50 and it's by a special artist, the store has to buy 50 issues of that comic to get that one print, to get that one issue with a special artist.
Right.
And there's 1 in 100, there's 1 in 500, there's 1 in 1,000. So I don't know if you have blind bag chasing if you don't have those.
Probably not, right? Because, I mean, perfect example. I'm a huge, speaking of going back to the 80s, I'm a really big Thundercats and Transformers fan. When Thundercats, the new volume of Thundercats started coming out last year, issue number 1, I looked this up for another stream I was watching, but issue number 1 had like 122 different variant covers. Why? There's no point. I mean, yeah, and to a degree, I get it. It gives some exposure to some maybe newer artists who are lesser known. That's cool. I can support that. But you're telling me there's 122 different artists out there that no one's heard of to sell a cover? I mean, and really only about 6 or 7 of them are, in my opinion, worth having if you're a cover lover collector. If that's what you're chasing, there's only about 6 or 7 of them worth having.
Right.
And I only bought the only one that I bought because it's the only one that it was a MagicCon exclusive. And to be fair, I wasn't going to be able to make it to MagicCon, so I pre-ordered it. And I bought 2 just in case. Was the Ariel Diaz cover because I think it's gorgeous. I think it's amazing. And with the hopes of getting her to sign them. Because she is local to me somewhat. She's from North Texas, so she comes to a lot of cons around here. So my chances are high of getting that done. But each book I paid like $30 for. And that's okay. I get it because it's a con exclusive, but it's the cover that I wanted. You know what I mean? Like I'm not buying a blind bag, not knowing what I'm going to get. I knew what I was getting and I knew what I was paying. So I chose those. I picked 2 because I knew there was a limited print run of like 500. There's not more than that. So I have 2 of them. I'm happy with that. But outside of that, the other, 118 covers that I don't think are that great, what does it do? Except make the book less desirable because now people are going, oh, well, I don't want these. Like Dave said, there's going to be a lot of unsold covers. For what? We're just wasting paper and wasting time.
That's great. I mean, but Bugger Lugs does have a good point. It's supply versus demand, and this is creating new interest, exposure to the comic community. He thinks it's awesome, and Jesse said that too. In Europe, it's got a bunch of new people in the comics. That's good, but it wouldn't work without the series. You're right. The series definitely helps, and like the character and the universe it's in. Mm-hmm. Colossus, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Jess says, I prefer the days of retailer incentive variants, much more rare and fun to collect. Okay.
Sure.
Getting some love for Ariel Diaz. Yeah, so I think we've covered the blind bags enough. I think we've had some good input from the chat. What have you gotten any recent pickups lately you'd like to show off, man?
I have, as we were saying backstage, My pull list is pretty short. It's basically whatever is going on with Moon Knight, and then I've got Redcoat, Dick Tracy from Mad Cave. What else am I reading? Thundercats is as up and down as that has been. I've got to stick with it, and then I think that's it. That's like 6 books that's on my pull. But speaking of Moon Knight, and speaking of specific artist covers, I picked up this EM Gist variant of Moon Knight, and man, Gist just gets it. I mean,
beautiful painted cover.
Yeah, just the captures how Moon Knight should look in every. Here I'm trying to get the glare out of here. how Moon Knight should look in every facet. I mean, looks so good. But I had to go to eBay to get it. That's the only place that I could find it, and I think I paid $13 for it. So you know what? I'm okay with it because it's a cover I wanted. I knew what I was getting. Wasn't a surprise, and it fit the budget. What else I got recently was, this is a fun one. You're a Daredevil guy. I picked up this. I think this came out in like 94, 95. Daredevil #1, Daredevil versus Vipora. I'm sure you've seen this before.
Yeah.
The dangers of vapors from fuel canisters and
yeah.
Oh God, what a crack up! This thing is. I mean, it's a little campy, but it's there. It's a safety thing. The '90s was chock full of goodness of, hey kids, don't do this or that.
Right.
So I picked that up, and then forgive me, I'm going to get up again here.
No, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
I finally got this back. Last year, I've kind of been saving this until I had a reason to show it.
Have you seen the new Moon Knight statue from Sideshow?
I have, and I talked to the wife about it, and I'm gonna put in the overtime at work basically to afford that. That's gonna be my good boy money.
Nice.
So I'm gonna try and pick that up for their retail price, not for secondary market, because I know secondary market on that's going to be probably double what the retail is. But last July, Roy Thomas was at a con here, and I had him sign a couple of things. I think I sent you some pictures. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen some of the things I posted. But I sent this off to get graded. This is and somebody, I think it was Johnny Comics on Rich's on Big Nasty's live that he was on right before coming onto the stream, mentioned the Power Record or Golden Record reprints of books that from like 1974 or 75. So what this is Power Record 17 in a CGC 5.0. You'll see that Roy Thomas signed it in silver there in that bottom panel.
I love that.
And what's funny about this is I wanted to make sure I reached out to CGC before I sent this off to be graded. I said, hey, this has a record in it. Can you guys grade this? And they said, yeah, we can grade it. No problem. It should fit in there. So I didn't have any reservations about that. But this is currently the only one on the CGC census. So it's a 1 of 1 right now, unless somebody else sends another PR-17 in to get graded.
Show the back of that book.
It's got a sweet man thing on there.
And Dracula, and I mean
Dracula and werewolf, and then there's a mummy on there.
Yeah, I mean that is I love that book. I love the color difference between that and the Marvel Spotlight 2, Did you get the record back? The record's in there, right?
Yeah, so I was talking to Chris about it. So I sent it off. I sent it to my local cleaner presser, and I don't know if he sent it. So they made a note here. It apparently doesn't affect the grade. I looked into it, but they made a note here that the record is not included in the inner mylar or the inner well. So I don't know if CGC pulled it out because their pressing would damage the record and just didn't send it back to me, or if my cleaner presser pulled it out to press it and forgot to send it. So I've got to have a conversation with them because I'd like to have the record back. I really wanted it to be in the case to be complete, but I looked it up and it doesn't affect the grading because they only grade the book. They don't grade records, or at least the vinyl. So it not being there, they'll just grade the book. So my feelings weren't super hurt, but I would like to have the record back.
Yeah, that sucks if the record was pulled.
Yeah, it's definitely not in there because they went through the trouble of listing it, that it's not there. But the other thing that's interesting too, and I'm going to have to email CGC about it, is that they mislabeled in their census what this book is. They said that the only one on the census is a 4.5 or a 4.0 blue label. Well, this is a 5.0 yellow label, or I guess PSA, JSA. So I'm going to have to email them and let them know that they've screwed up.
Once again.
But let's not talk about CGC for now. Dave's got it. CGC is so bad and inconsistent with free gifts. Yeah, well.
Yeah. So those cover your recent pickups?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm always kind of picking up something. Middle of last year, I started. I've always been a big Daredevil fan, so I got this wild hair to. I'm going to chase the entire Volume 1 Daredevil, 1 through 380. And I did not know what a lofty goal that was when I started. But luckily, due to some sellers that consistently have Daredevil on Whatnot, I've gotten away with getting most of them for pretty cheap. And I think I've got like 260 of the way through it. So I'm pushing the boulder uphill, but I'm almost there.
Hey man, it's possible. It's not worse than some of the other, Amazing Spider-Man, Hulk. Well, Hulk's only first, 6 issues, but like X-Men,
right?
It's not as daunting. Fantastic Four, so it's not as daunting.
You know what? That brings me up. Yeah, that brings me back to the point that I was making earlier with Mike. I got to sell this off because I haven't posted anything. I meant to make a video about it when Mike sent this to me, and I didn't. I'm sorry, Mike. But
here we go. Yeah.
Mike was on. Anybody that follows Casino Comics and Son of Crom and Stevie D and who else is on there with him?
Renegade Rants. Is he on there? The substitute.
Yeah, Renegade. Yep, Jason. Renegade Rants. So they have a live that they do, and it was several weeks ago now. Like I said, I feel bad about taking so long, but like you said, life gets in the way. So they threw out a trivia question, and they said, who was the first, A-list villain that Daredevil fought, and what issue? And I said, it's issue number 2. It's Electro. And Mike was like, yeah, that's right. I'm going to put something together for you. Message me on Instagram. And I told him, what I liked, Moon Knight and Daredevil. And he sent me a couple of Moon Knight books that I didn't have, which is awesome. But he sent me this. And this just blows my mind.
Mike's too kind, yeah.
He is the sweetest guy. This is a Wizard Ace edition with acetate cover. I don't know if you remember those from the 90s when those were real big. Yeah. But this is number 1. But it's signed out of 99 by Joe Quesada. Look at this thing.
Dude, that's sick.
He absolutely did not have to send me something like that for answering a trivia question on a random live stream on like a Thursday. But this came in the mail, and I was blown away. So, Mike, thank you again. Awesome. It will go up on my wall next to that Daredevil or that Werewolf 32. But I love it. Sweet Kingpin cover, Joe Quesada signature. Can't beat it.
That was sick, dude. I haven't had many recent pickups actually. Those Battle Beasts are my recent pickups. I just will say that I guess I just whoops, let me put it back like this. I did finish reading a couple. I've read this twice now. I got this on Free Comic Day, but Predator vs. Wolverine. I had to read it twice to really grasp the awesomeness of this. And someone I was talking to, I think Fluxcap Collects was talking like how great it was they made Wolverine like the ultimate trophy because like his whole skeleton's adamantium. So like, and if anyone hasn't read this yet, I highly recommend it because they, this Predator and him basically fight all throughout his life. So I really love this. I've read it twice now. And then I finally got this on Free Comic Day and I finished it. It took me like a week and a half, but have you ever read this, The Planet Hulk?
I've read parts of Planet Hulk. I've not read the whole thing, but I know what I read was fantastic.
My God, I see why this is lauded over now as like one of the best Hulk stories. It was so good. I couldn't put it down. And I'm reading before bed, and I had to get up super early every day. And I'm just like, I can't stop. So shout out to everyone whoever suggested this book to me. I don't feel the need to own each separate issue. It's just so good. So highly recommend anyone to buy this trade. I got this. It was $30, but it was like a percentage off that day on Comic Book Day, so like $25. But it's a whole collected volume. Yeah, it does make Civil War and Ragnarok better. And Justin and I are trying to lock down a time to talk Spider-Man and Predator, because that was a great story too.
You know what I have been reading digitally, because I'm not going to go out of my way to find the physical copy, but because of you and Justin, Alien versus Avengers. Man, I am digging that. I like that a lot.
Assad Rivik's art and what's his name's writing? Hickman. Yeah, that's some great stuff. They're cramming a lot into 4 issues. I can't wait for that.
No kidding.
So Coach, what do you got coming up in the near future? I think we'll wrap it up there, but what do you got coming up on the near future, brother?
I am, anybody that follows me on YouTube or Instagram, we've covered it enough, but life gets in the way. I've had a lot of life changes this year, which is why I haven't made a YouTube video since November. So if you're still a subscriber, I appreciate you. If you're not yet, come check me out on Instagram, and I will start creating more videos and posting more content on YouTube. So here in the next week or two, I'd like to get a new video out about different ways to display your comics. I won't go into too much detail because I don't have it all figured out yet, but just different products and different ways to display your comics. Outside of that, I'm pretty active on Instagram, so follow me there if you're not already, and appreciate all you folks that subscribe and follow.
Yes, go sub this guy up. He's been a good friend for over a year now, and he deserves everyone to go check out his content. And I'm looking forward to that display video. I'm always trying. This got stagnant for the first year, and then I changed it up. So I'm always looking for new products. So I will check out that video. Everyone in the chat, check out that video when it comes out. And thanks everyone for hanging out tonight and chiming in. We had a lot of great input from the chat. And Doug, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, buddy.
Hey man, thanks for being available, and it was a sweet hanging on a Saturday night on a holiday weekend, and thank you everybody in the chat for throwing in your input. It's cool to get a lot of different opinions and ideas on the community.
Yeah, for sure. I love when people chime in and give it everything. But guys, we're gonna go talk backstage. I got to get up for overtime at 5 a.m, so I'll talk to all you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.